Hi, my name's Amy Lunton-Rawsthorne. I'm an MA Social Work student here at Liverpool Hope University, and I'm joined today by wonderful Michael Lavalette, who is co-founder of SWAN, the Social Work Action Network, and is one of the lecturers and heads of department here at Liverpool Hope. We're going to have a chat about social work and its issues and possibilities and futures. And hopefully try and answer some of your questions that have come from around the world, from Britain, Spain and Hong Kong, and yeah, try and answer some of those questions today.
Try.
So let's start with the most obvious question. What is SWAN, and why did you feel it was important to set up the Social Work Action Network?
Okay, so SWAN stands for the Social Work Action Network, and it was formed in Britain in 2004. And it really came out of something called the Social Work Manifesto for a New Engaged Practice. Now that was written by myself, Ian Ferguson from the University of West of Scotland, Chris Jones, who at the time was the Professor of Social Work at Liverpool University, and Laura Penketh, who now works at Liverpool Hope alongside myself. And basically the four of us had, for the previous 10 years, we'd all been activists, we'd all been writing and working in social work, but we had come together really because our shared interests had sort of revealed a gap in the social work literature. And I think the motivator for that was the growth of the anti-capitalist or the global justice movement, which started in Seattle in 1999 and then spread to Europe and brought us things like the World Social Forum, the European Social Forum. And it brought people, academics from the left, activists from the left together to try and think about the impact of global capitalism on public services, on poor communities, on why it was leading to the growth of inequality. And so the four of us got together and wrote the manifesto, drawing on our own recent research. So Chris Jones had been doing some work with frontline practitioners in Britain. This was the first time that any research like that had been done for 10, 15 years. And what he found was that despite the myths, the reality on the ground was that social workers were working longer hours, had more cases, their life was being dominated by computer systems that were telling them what cases to close. He found that social workers were often off ill and stressed, and that ironically, or rather surprisingly, if you were working in the front line for about 5 years, you were effectively a veteran social worker. Now that wasn't our experience. If we go back 20 years ago, people would be in child protection teams for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, but now 5 years, that was a veteran because there was a high turnover. So there was Chris's work about the impact of neoliberalism on social work frontline. Ian and myself had been writing about privatisation, neoliberalism. We'd also been writing about the relevance of Marxism for understanding social work. We'd written a couple of papers which had been well received, one on the concept of alienation in Marx and how it helps us understand and explain service users' position in life, and another one really critiquing some of the ideas amongst the global anti-capitalist movements that civil society offered a more radical form or a radical way out of the crisis, and we argued that actually civil society was much more complicated and that civil society organisations included big multinational corporations, and if you were in favour of civil society against the state and they were going to privatise the hospitals and privatise the schools, then it opened up a question: whose side were you on? Were you on the side of state provision of services or on the side of civil society, which was about the privatisation of those roles and functions? And Laura had been writing really, I suppose, in defence of anti-racist social work, which had gone off the agenda, and she was working with social work students and practitioners about their experiences of racism, social workers from the black community that is, and had moved and was looking at the growth of Islamophobia, which was around 2001, 2002. especially in the aftermath of 9/11. There was a growing atmosphere of Islamophobia and what that meant for some of the most vulnerable communities. So the four of us brought our respected interests and research together. We wrote the Social Work Manifesto. We didn't know what to do with it, so we logged it on upline and went away. And then what happened was that people started to write and ask if they could sign their name to it. So very quickly we had 1,000 names, and we didn't know what to do with these 1,000 names of people who wanted to sign the manifesto, saying that we should have a new, we had to hold on to our value base, we had to stand out against neoliberalism, that social work was a project worth defending, but we were too silent, we were letting these things happen to us, and we had to take control over social work. And then we decided that, well, if 1,000 people wanted to sign a manifesto, could we have a conference? And this coincided with Chris Jones's retirement, so we were very nervous. We didn't know if people would come, but we thought they might come to Chris's retirement do. So it was half party, half conference, but 220 people came along. Wow. And at the end of the conference, we decided to set up something called the Social Work Action Network, which would be framed around the manifesto and set itself as a campaigning network within social work. That was in 2004. And then since then, the Social Work Action Network and the sort of writing that we've done and the campaigning that we've done has meant that we've spread across the globe. So we've now got a SWAN group in Canada, there's an active group in Ireland, we've got connections with organisations in Hungary and Spain, there's a SWAN Greece, there are colleagues and friends and comrades in Hong Kong, there is SWAN Australia. So across the world there are SWAN groups, or there are, if you like, sister organisations of SWAN. In parts of Latin America, that is the official social work organisations are very close to us, the Brazilian and the Argentinian organisation, for example. And the Spanish organisation, the official Spanish organisation, has been very, very involved in the anti-cuts campaign in Spain and has sent fraternal delegates to SWAN conference this year, and we've appeared in their literature and vice versa. So it's now gone from being 4 people in a room writing a manifesto to an international network of still a minority within social work, but a minority within social work committed to social work, and the notion that good social work makes a valuable contribution to people's lives, but good social work requires proper funding, proper respect between workers and service users, the engagement and involvement in social workers. And if we start to prioritise those things, then another social work and a better social work is possible.
Amazing. Thank you.